Hello everyone. So I continue to get asked about my profit trailer and feeder settings, and well, the market is constantly changing lately, and so my settings change often. When the market has been sideways, my current settings have just been killing it and give me a return on investment of about 2% per day. But we all know this market has been really inconsistent. So before I leave on vacation tomorrow, I wanted to share with you the settings that I'm going to be changing based on what I think is going to happen to the market over the next week. Hopefully this will help you a little bit also and give you some explanation of what some of the settings actually mean in the trading bot. So let's get started. Okay, the file I'm going to be updating is feeder app settings.json. I personally think we're going to be heading back up in the next few days, and I'm okay with a couple DCA bags, but the reason I'm changing these settings is for a few reasons. One, I don't want the bot to sell early at 1% profit when I'm seeing 5 to 10% moves in short periods. And two, I want to make sure I'm not getting into pump and dumps with low volume coins during a volatile market. Three, in a sideways market, I personally don't do too much DCA because I want high volume of trades using my max budget. But when things start to increase, I want the bot to buy more coins but use less budget initially and be able to do more DCA buys if necessary. So the first thing I'm going to adjust is the buy value. My buy value is going to be set at 1.48%, and it's currently you see 0.98. But most people have the bot settings at 1% or 2% or another whole number. The reason I adjust my settings is that I want to trigger before other bots. I had a cost set at 6%, sometimes 8% when I was having the bot use 90% of my total budget without DCA. But because we'll be looking into buy more coins, I've adjusted this to 4% in these settings. My DCA enabled is currently set at minus 3%. So basically if one of my coins is down 3% after the bot purchased it, the bot will look at dollar cost averaging or double the investment if the coin drops below 3%. So I have all of my trailing buys much lower than most default settings because I have noticed in the past that a coin will trigger and then start up 1% or more before the bot can actually buy back in. In this case, the DCA trailing buy is set at 0.05% and the trailing buy is set at 0.07%. I also adjusted the max trailing buy to 0.5% because I don't want it to try and buy in at 1% or 2% higher than it actually triggered. I'll be watching these settings, how these settings do over the next couple days, and if it isn't triggering many buys, then I will change the buy value to 0.98% and likely change the trailing from 0.07 to 0% so it buys immediately when triggered. My minimum buy balance used to be about 90% when I was in a sideways market and not seeing much DCA action, and that was great in those sideways markets because I was trying to get 1% gains on a trade, but based on these settings where I'm going for 3% or more on my trades, I'm going to change this to 50 or trade with 50% of my stash before DCAs. I've also moved my minimum buy volume to 500 to make sure that it keeps the bot from buying extremely small volume coins. I've changed my DCA sell value to 2.5%, just like I have on the normal trades because I'm looking for those higher profits on each trade. And I've also set my trailing profits to 0.5%. The reason being is that I'm seeing coins that are gaining, doing it over a longer period of time, and I don't want the coin to sell if it could go on a run of 10% or more in an hour period. By having these numbers a little higher, it prevents the bot from selling off immediately when it triggers to sell, thus maximizing those profits. Those are the major changes that I've made at the moment. I will add a link in the description to download these settings if you want to try them out. Also, make sure and come back in a couple days and I'll update the description on how the settings are doing for me. You can see in my video there on that buy value that it does say minus 98%. That's not going to trigger. So in the settings you're going to download, I will make sure that it says 0.9, actually it's going to say 1.48. And then if that doesn't trigger sells, then I said we'll move it to 0.98. So best of luck in trading, and we'll talk to all you guys soon.